Hey there, this is the What Your Mortgage Company Doesn't Want You to Know video. Let's get it. Imagine sending $2,000 to your bank every month for your mortgage and realizing less than $100 is actually going towards paying down your house. The rest? Gone, straight into your lender's pocket. That's how mortgages are designed. You pay interest for decades while the bank collects interest. But here's the secret. You don't have to play this game. There are simple moves you could make that could save you over $100,000 or more and shave years, even decades off your loan. Most people never hear about these strategies because financial institutions aren't exactly advertising them. But today I'm going to share them and break them down for you step by step so you can stop burning your money on interest and start paying off your house faster. Hey, I'm Adam Carroll, founder of the Shred Method, and I help homeowners take control of their mortgage, pay it off decades earlier, and start building real wealth in record time. And with that out of the way, let's dive in. Why your balance barely budges. Let's start with the first painful truth about mortgages. And if you've ever looked at your statement, you've probably noticed this yourself. In the first few years of your mortgage, very, very little of your payment goes toward actually owning your home. Instead, the vast majority goes to the bank in the form of interest. Here's what that looks like. You're paying $2,000 every single month, but in year one, less than $100 of that payment is actually reducing your balance every month. The other $1,900 is just rent to the bank. The privilege of equity in home ownership can take years and years to experience if you're not in the know. This is why so many people feel stuck. You're making huge payments, but your loan barely moves. And that's not an accident. It's by design. Banks want their interest up front before you've even touched the real debt. It's why mortgages are such a profitable venture for lenders. And this is not to vilify the banks or the lenders out there. It's a good business model, but just know it's extremely profitable for them. The escrow myth. And if that wasn't frustrating enough, there's another little trick that makes your payments even heavier, something most people don't even realize is optional. I'm talking about escrow. Now, escrow is when your bank collects money for property taxes and insurance as part of your monthly mortgage payment. It sounds convenient, right? But here's what most people don't realize. In many cases, escrow is optional. That means you could actually keep that money in your account instead of letting the bank hold on to it. And if you had a smart plan in place, you could put it toward your loan balance instead, which knocks down your debt faster and saves you thousands, and in some cases, tens of thousands of dollars in interest. Now, hear me out. This only works if you're disciplined. If you're the kind of person who forgets to pay bills or you spend money as soon as it hits your account, escrow is a great safety net that you probably need. But for those who are intentional with their money, opting out of escrow is like getting a secret weapon against your mortgage balance. The interest rate trap. And even if you're thinking, well, hey, at least I got a great deal on my interest rate. The reality is, that deal isn't nearly as good as it looks. Here's the truth. That super low interest rate only stays low if you actually stretch your mortgage out for 30 years. And guess what that means? You'll end up paying the bank tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest over the life of the loan. Now, granted, a 3% or even sub 5% interest rate is a great rate, but it is not the lowest rate that you could possibly get. So when I hear people say, this is the cheapest money I'll ever find, it isn't when you know the truth. The magic interest rate is just over 6%. At that rate, you will pay double, twice, the amount of your original loan. Meaning, if you borrow $500,000 for a purchase, you'll end up paying over $1 million by the time 30 years has expired, assuming a 6% or a little bit higher than 6% rate. But here's the good news. When you pay down your mortgage faster, making lump sum payments from time to time, bringing the balance down and increasing your equity, your effective interest rate drops like a rock. Suddenly, that so-called 3% loan, the cheapest money you'll ever have, could actually create an effective APR, an effective interest rate of more like 1% or 1.5% or even less, because you're cutting out years and years of interest payments. This is the part that your lender won't mention, because the longer you take to pay them back, the more money they make. It's in their business model. Recasting versus refinancing. Now, most people think the only way to lower their mortgage payment is by refinancing. And that's the story your lender wants you to believe, because refinancing is a moneymaker for them. So when you refinance, you're basically starting over. New fees, new appraisal, new closing costs, and worst of all, the loan clock resets to that 30-year time frame. That means you go right back to those painful early years where almost everything that you're paying is interest. But here's the secret most homeowners never hear about. You don't have to refinance. There's a little known move that can actually lower your payment and save you thousands and thousands of dollars without resetting that clock back to zero on your loan. And almost nobody knows it exists. It's called a recast. A recast is very simple. You make a big lump sum payment towards your mortgage, or maybe subsequent small lump sum payments towards your mortgage, and then your bank simply recalculates your monthly payment based on the new smaller balance. No new loan, no restart, no appraisal, no underwriting, same interest rate, same timeline, meaning the term stays the same, just a smaller monthly payment because now you owe less. Now, some banks will charge a small fee for this, maybe a couple $100, but others like Wells Fargo or Chase will actually do this for free if you just call and ask. Generally speaking, there is a threshold that you have to meet in order to request a recast. And that might mean making an extra $5,000 or $10,000 lump sum payment to your mortgage. So why don't they tell you this? Because while refinancing pads their profits, recasting actually helps you and it keeps money out of their pockets. The bi-weekly payments and lump sum payments trick. While a recast can lower your monthly payment in a big way, there's another strategy that's even simpler. It doesn't cost you a dime and it can cut nearly a decade off of your mortgage. Here's how it works. Instead of making one monthly mortgage payment, you make half a payment every 2 weeks. So now that might sound like the same thing. I'm making half my payment every 2 weeks. But in actuality, there are 12 months in a year, but there are 26 2-week periods, which means without even noticing it, you're essentially sneaking in an extra full payment every single year. That one extra payment may not sound like much, but over time, it's massive. On a 30-year mortgage, just switching to biweekly payments can shave 7 to 8 years off of your loan, and that will end up saving you tens of thousands of dollars in interest. Now, if you've never heard that before, because the banks generally don't like it, every extra dollar that you throw at your loan early means less interest. So it's not exactly something they're going to encourage you to pay off your loans or your home faster. You'll have to make that decision yourself. And what I'd ask you to do is forget the companies that say they'll do this for you for a small monthly fee. You can do this yourself just by setting up automatic payments. And while the biweekly payment trick works, 7 to 8 years off of your loan is no joke. You'll save tens of thousands, like I just said. The shred method takes this idea and absolutely turbocharges it. Using the shred method to accelerate your mortgage balance payoff is like putting nitrous oxide in your gas tank. You have no idea how efficient your income could be used until you see this in action. So for a free savings analysis to see just how fast you could be out of debt, how much interest you could save, and how quickly you could be debt-free, I want you to click on the link in the description below. The PMI removal hack. Let's talk about one of the biggest hidden costs of owning a home. It's called PMI, or private mortgage insurance. Now, PMI isn't protecting you, it's protecting your lender in case you stop paying. And the worst part of this is it can cost you hundreds of dollars every single month, and it's not going anywhere except to an insurance product. So what that means is this hundreds of dollars, call it $150, $200, $300 a month, is like literally flushing $300 a month down the toilet. It goes to nothing. Now, most people think they're stuck with PMI for years. But here's the secret. You can actually get rid of it early by making extra payments on your loan balance. So once your loan balance drops below 80% of your home's value, you can call your lender and ask them to cancel PMI. For a lot of people, just 1 or 2 extra lump sum payments, maybe 5 or 10 grand, can push them over that threshold. And while that might seem like a lot of money to some, when you're using a system like the shred method, it's very, very doable. That means that PMI disappears and suddenly your monthly payment drops by a few $100. That's hundreds back in your pocket every single month. Money you can throw at your mortgage, your savings, or whatever matters most to you. In conclusion, so if you've ever felt like your mortgage was designed to keep you broke and stuck, you're kind of right. They are designed in a way where the majority of the payment goes to interest at the beginning, and then little by little, more and more principal starts creeping in. But now you know how to flip the script. So you know the shortcuts. In this video, you've seen how most of your early payments go straight into the bank's pocket as interest. Escrow isn't always required, and you can put that money to better use. Your low interest rate isn't really low unless you pay your loan down faster. It stays low only because it's on a 30-year amortization schedule. Item number 4, Recast can lower your payment without resetting the clock. And in many cases, it can be done for free. Biweekly payments sneak in an extra payment each year and cut nearly a decade off your loan. But if you're using the shred method, you could have all of your debt, and I mean all of it, paid off within 3 to 10 years. And lastly, PMI, you don't have to keep paying it nearly as long as the bank suggests you do. These are the kinds of strategies that your lender will likely not bring up to you. Not because they don't care, but because they don't really make money when you know these. But now you do. I'm Adam Carroll, founder of the Shred Method, and my mission is to help owners pay off their houses faster, save tens of thousands of dollars in interest, and start building wealth sooner with that giant asset you're living in, your home. So if you want to see how quickly you could shred your mortgage, maybe cut years or decades off your loan and save hundreds of thousands of dollars or more, I want you to check out the link in the description below this video. Thanks for watching. And remember, when you get smart with your money, you win. Smash that like and subscribe button so you never miss another video. See you in the next one.